A lot of them want to encourage people to come back, but people are going to have very varied feelings and experience about that. Learning from, oh, I'm so desperate to get back and see people and go for coffee. People are going to have very varied feelings. Are going to have varied feelings and experiences about that. Learning from, oh, I'm so desperate to get back and see people and go for coffee. I'm so desperate to get back and see people and go for coffee. To the garden and where we have people who are actually really scared about it. Where, where you have people who are actually really scared about it. Well, actually, really scared about it. She says, workers will fall on spectrum from can wait to deeply anxious. Workers will fall on spectrum from can wait to deeply anxious. That means that those who are eager to return are likely to find themselves disappointed when the things they miss most. It means that those who are eager to return are likely to find themselves disappointed. To find themselves disappointed when the things they miss most. Quick chats with colleagues, big brainstorming session, team solidarity and socializing are still not happening. Actually, quick chats with colleagues, big brainstorming session, team solidarity, and socializing. Still not happy. This has been a Lapis experience. This has been Lapis experience. Key elements of the workplace experience that he enjoyed have disappeared. Of the workplace experience that he enjoyed have disappeared. The client meetings in the office, the leftover BBQ, the beautiful thing about working on an advertising agency is there's beer fridges and stuff. The client meetings in the office. The client meetings in the office, the leftover BBQ, the beautiful thing about working in an advertising agency, working in an advertising agency. Is there spare fridges and stuff? Is there spare fridges and stuff? On Friday afternoons, always be. On Fridays afternoons, it would be always be. Let's have a few beers. Maybe go out. Let's have a few beers. Maybe go out. Now there's only a handful of people there and it's just not the same. Only a handful of people there and it's just not the same. The change may be more difficult for certain personality types. The change may be difficult, maybe more difficult for certain personality types. The same people, namely extroverts who draw their energy from the buzz of being around other people. Extroverts who draw their energy from the buzz of being around other people. Research shows extroverts are less affected by dopamine, so they need more stimulation to feel on or be productive. Research shows extroverts are less affected affected by the farming, so they need more stimulation to get on or be productive. The major benefits those people like Langan can get from being in the office are a big part of what's driving them back, even if there's not as much stimulation as there was us. The major benefits those people like Langan get from being in the office. A big part of what's driving them back. Even if there's not as much stimulation as there was us. Even if there's not as much stimulation as there was us. Social connections and the boost some workers derive from them are not the only reasons people might be anticipating returning to the office. Social connections and the boost some workers derive from them. Are not the only reasons people might be anticipating returning to the office. Not the only reasons people might be anticipating returning to the office. However, some people may be looking forward to comparative quiet of their desk, parents seeking a kind of peace they haven't been able to get alone. However, some people may be looking forward to the comparative quiet of their desk. Maybe looking forward to the comparative quiet of their desk. Parents seeking a kind of peace. Seeking a kind of peace. They haven't been able to get along. For example, young workers, meanwhile, may be missing valuable learning time with mentors and older colleagues. May be missing valuable learning time with mentors and order of the careers. Unfortunately, some of these people won't find what they are looking for either. Unfortunately, some of these people won't find what they are looking for either. It could be hard for young workers to assess those learning experiences if more senior workers chose to work from home. And people who are in the office to work quietly would find that peaceful spots are few and far between. Companies decide to pivot their space to include different waiting spaces more suited to facilitating social interactions in the hybrid era. And people who are in the office to work quietly would find that Christmas was a few and far between. If companies decide to pivot the space to include different meeting spaces or suited to facilitating social interactions in the hybrid area. And fired a professor of innovation, design, and organizational studies at New York University, returned to her office and classroom on the NYU campus in September 2020. A professor of innovation, design, and organization studies at New York University, returned to her office and classroom on the NYU campus in September 2020 because she wanted to be there. But she admits that it feels different now. Admits that it feels different now. It's the same old office, but it's not the same at all. And it's hard for people to imagine, she says. It's the same old office, but it's not the same at all. And it's hard for people to imagine, she says. Managing expectations and waiting to adapt. And waiting to adapt. It's perfectly normal to feel a bit unmoored if you are returning to an office that feels like it's changed for the worse. It's perfectly normal to feel a bit unmoored if you are returning to an office that feels like it's changed for the worse. For the most, the constant uncer- uncertainty, and adaptation has been exhausting, and we are not out of it yet, says Bashard. The constant uncertainty and adaptation has been exhausting, and we are not out of that yet, says Bashard. Exactly the same as it was pre-pandemic, she says, is a recipe for disappointment. Hard says the biggest thing workers can do is temper their expectations. This is the biggest thing workers can do is temper their expectations. Even if it's physically the same place, almost every office has undergone a major shift. It's basically the same place. Almost every office has undergone a major shift. Expecting it to be exactly the same as it was pre-pandemic, she says, is a recipe for disappointment. Expecting it to be exactly the same as it was pre-pandemic. She says is a recipe for disappointment. It's more stressful if you are always comparing and spending time trying to replicate. It's more stressful if you are always comparing and spending time trying to replicate instead of thinking, okay, it's going to be something different, she says. Okay, it's going to be something different, she says. I think that we help people with managing stress and expectations. I think that we help people with managing stress and expectations. It's really deeper thing about embracing ambiguity, and I think that I think this was hardest for everyone. It's really a deeper thing about embracing ambiguity, and I think this was hardest for everyone. Being able to talk about what's changed and how workers feel about those changes is important. Being able to talk about what's changed and how workers feel about those changes is important. Yes. And bosses should be facilitating those conversations with their employees. Should be facilitating those conversations with their employees. I think we start talking, she says, because there's a big piece of people being able to maybe become more comfortable. I think we start talking, she says, because there's a big piece of people being able to maybe become more comfortable. The conversation might be more open or it might be more anonymous depending on the culture of the organization, but I think it cannot be ignored. The conversation might be more open or it might be more anonymous depending on culture of the organization, but I think it cannot be ignored. Langen says he began to feel less disappointed once he reflected later on the new reality. Began to feel less disappointed once he reflected later on the new reality. There are there are these expectations you there are these expectations you build up for yourself, like it's going to be everything I want it to be. There are these expectations you build up for yourself, like it's going to be everything I want it to be. Everything I missed, and it's going to make everything better. It's going to it's going to make everything better. He says that we are all coming out of a collective trauma and maybe going back to an office won't change that. But We are all coming out of a collective trauma and maybe going back to our office want change that you are just not going to have you're not going to have the same experience in the office you did in 2019. You're just not going to have the same experience in the office you did in 2019. You just real you just realize okay, of course it will be different. Okay, of course it will be different. And you just get used to it. Ryan says it's also helpful to remind himself that all the things he's still missing won't necessarily be gone forever. It's also helpful to remind himself that all the things all the things you're still missing won't necessarily be gone forever. It's a bummer, but it'll happen again eventually. It's a bummer, but it'll happen again eventually. I'm keeping that hope up. I try to remain optimistic. And for him, ultimately, even a changed office is better than none at all. And for him, ultimately, even a changed office is better than none at all. It makes me feel better, he says. He says, knowing that I can get up and have a place to go as opposed to working at my kitchen table. Knowing that get up and have a place to go as opposed to working at my kitchen